Welcome to Silver Gaming, my name's Lachlan Linton King, and welcome to the unboxing video for the Battle of the Pelennor Fields box set. I am so amped to see what's in this guy. I mean, this whole box set, what it represents for all of us as long-time players. I mean, if you spoke to us 3 years ago, I never would have dreamt that there'd be another big new edition box set. Of course, the Lord of the Rings Battle of the Pelennor Fields is the new flagship product and starter set for the new edition of the Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, and now Middle-earth strategy battle game, which is so exciting. We've got whole new rules, whole new profiles. Jay Clare's put in a whole lot of work to bring us what seems to be an incredibly exciting new edition, probably the best rendition of the game so far, which is super exciting, and we get this awesome new product which is really, really exciting. Now, I mean, I've been playing since launch in like 2001, so this is sort of like a 17-year journey for me at this point, but also for new players, I think this product's going to be fantastic as well, so I am super excited. I actually just landed in the country a couple of hours ago. I was in New Zealand doing a bit of a Middle-earth in winter travel vlog, which will be out for you guys to check out soon, but this box set came out a couple of days ago now, back on the weekend, and I've just been seeing everyone posting all the, little tidbits and photos and kind of opening it and getting into it, and it's like the hype is real. It's been such a tease, so I am so excited to get in and open it and see what we get in this wonderful new starter set. And I thought I'd film it for you guys so you can check out, mainly just get a laugh at me being as giddy as a little schoolgirl about this new box set. But yeah, we'll have a look together and see about all the new goodness that is coming with it. I've also got a few other extra goodies. Of course, the Lord of the Rings Armies book, which is where we have all of our profiles, supposedly, for all of the revised elements on all the Lord of the Rings profiles compiled together in one tome. No more carrying 8 books around. And I've also got a few of the new Middle-earth dice to check out as well. We've got some Rohan and some Mordor. Obviously, you guys know what I love. So we're going to dive into that. But first, let's jump into this box set. So, well, let's slice out our little shrink wrapping before we get into looking at artwork. Now notice I'm using a file. For all you noob unboxers, don't open it with a scalpel. Just don't do it. The amount of times I've opened products with scalpels and nicked a little bit of the cardboard, it's, yeah, not a good look. Ooh, that's a very nice linen finish. Oh, that feels gorgeous. So we got some beautiful art on the front with our two opposing forces here, with Rohan and Mordor, helmed by our two wonderful heroes, Theoden, who looks like he's going to be returning to the awesome Theoden he always should have been, and of course the Witch King, which is, nice. We got a big general for each side, which is really exciting. And on the back of the box, as always, with all the wonderful Games Workshop starters, we've got a big breakdown of everything that comes inside. So we've got a great collection of models, and that's kind of the really big takeaway, I guess, before we get started into looking at everything in detail. This box set comes with so much stuff, particularly with the way the pricing structure is working lately. I mean, we just had that price increase with Forge World here in Australia and New Zealand, and this starter set, if the Games Workshop line starts to go that way, hopefully it doesn't, but we've got some amazing value in this box set, like Games Workshop starters always do. So I think we've got 12 Riders of Rohan on horse, and they're 12 dismounts as well, 12 Warriors of Rohan on foot, and they're led by our beautiful new Theoden sculpt, which we'll get to check out, and then 20 Warriors of the Dead as well to bulk out the rest of the good forces, which is a really sizable good force, great for young players jumping in, and old players returning as well. And for the evil side, we've got a Witch King on Fell Beast, a fantastic general to lead the Mordor forces, a Mordor troll, so we've got some monstrous creatures, power really in the evil side, and then 36 Morannon orcs to flesh out that orc horde, which is just absolutely fantastic. So that is pretty exciting. And what else have we got on the back here? Oh, just a bit of rambling about all sorts of stuff. The Battle of the Pelennor Fields is your gateway to collecting, painting, and gaming with Games Workshop's officially licensed Middle-earth products. Yes, so it is a gateway indeed, and I think it's going to be pretty fantastic. Let's crack it open. All right. Oh yeah, that smell. Wow, that is a lot of plastic. All right. So now, I think, my goodness. One thing I'm really excited about is, obviously, I've got bucket loads of models, and a lot of this stuff I already have, but I actually have like 0 Morannon orcs, so this is a great box for me, because I get to jump straight into 36 of these beautiful Morannon orc kits. Now, most of these models are not new, we've seen them all before, it's just been packaged in this great kind of big collection or product. The exception of that, of course, is being the new Theoden sculpt, which we'll get to when we get to, but yeah, look at all these gorgeous models. So We've got some Army of the Dead here. Oh, there's our flying base. The Army of the Dead are gorgeous models, and I mean, I've got heaps of Army of the Dead already, but I find they're really good opportunities for conversions, all sorts of fun Angmar stuff as well, the Men of Kharn-Dûm and all those kind of options. So even if you've got bucket loads of Army of the Dead, Warriors of the Dead, they're really handy. Riders of Rohan, I can never have enough of these, especially working towards my Articon list. Some fresh riders that aren't slathered with old coats of paint is always going to be valuable. So we've got 12, that of course they come in the set of 6, so we've got 2 of those 6 sprues, with the 2 with bows, 2 with hand weapon and shield, and 2 with throwing spear, multiplied by 2 to flesh out to our 12. And then of course we've got our cavalry sets. So we've got 6 horses there and 6 horses here as well to take us to our 12 horses. Some more Morannon Orcs here as well. That completes, yes, 12, 24, 36. Now the Morannon Sprue, I love this, guys. They're one of the kind of later edition plastic kits that came out, back in the kind of heyday of plastic kits being rolled out for troops, and they've got really dynamic poses, and I'm super stoked not owning any of these yet. Plus they've got these really great shields. They're really cool. Even if you don't use them as Morannon, you can kind of mix the shields in with Mordor Orcs and give them a bit of flavor as well, so getting a whole bunch of Morannon Orcs is always awesome. Let's keep piling through. Here's our 12 Warriors of Rohan, which work just as well to play as actual warriors and infantry, but of course they're perfect to have for our dismounts, for our cavalry models, for the big horde. And then, this is the big one. We get a full Mordor Troll sprue. This is the same sprue that comes in the box set with all of the options. We've got the torso and legs, which come in 2 halves, and then all of the arm options. We've got spear, we've got, of course, the drums and the drum bells as well. We've got a nice big Uruk-hai kind of blade, a club, a big hammer for that, that old school metal Mordor Troll pose with the big steel hammer. You can replicate that as well with the plastic, and then a nice big Isengard shield and a few different plates of armor. I really love these kits. I've actually got another 2 unopened. The thing that I love so much about them is that you can really get great bang for your buck if you're just a little bit talented with green stuff. I can usually turn, because you get 3 head options, right, as well as an empty helmet. So I'll kind of make 1 troll stock with the bits in the box, and then you'll have all these bits left over, extra arms, extra heads, and then if you can sculpt yourself an extra torso and an extra pair of legs and then stick on some of the armor plates and stuff, you can turn 1 box set into 3 trolls very easily, which is something I've certainly done to flesh out my troll horde. So, that's another 3 trolls for me right there, which, because who doesn't need 13 trolls, right? And then, of course, we have the absolutely wonderful Nazgul kit, which is just a gorgeous kit, always has been. Really dynamically posed fell beast. And it's just got a lot of great detail on it. And if I remember correctly, we do actually have 2 options here. Obviously it can be the Witch King sitting astride his fell beast, but you can also have just a generic ring wraith. So again, that's a great value for me. I've already got my ring wraith sitting over there on his fell beast with his big crown of Morgul and flaming sword. So I'm probably just going to use this to represent a generic ring wraith sitting on top of a fell beast, and that's going to take my fell beast count to 2 because I've only got 1. So that's pretty exciting for me, and it's like flexibility in kits is always awesome. And the trolls and the fell beast, it really gives added value to the kit, being able to kind of do so much with it. But yeah, it's just, I love fell beasts. They're so cool. Sitting up on top of their flying base, we can see here's the stem of that. It's really nice to have these big imposing models on the battlefield. Makes really, really exciting. So now we come to one of the most exciting parts of the box, and that is, of course, a new model. I'm looking at a new model for the first time in a very long time for me, and this is of course our new gorgeous Theoden sculpt, and I've got to say it looked amazing in the photos, but it is pretty impressive in the flesh. Obviously he comes foot and mounted, and the mounted pose is really dynamic. He's kind of rearing. It's going to be so gorgeous to have that on the board, to be our kind of big general leading the Rohirrim forces. But yeah, the detail work on this looks absolutely stunning. We were actually painting up a bunch of our old Theoden models to get ready for some Rohan stuff that we were doing here here on the channel, and I love the old Theoden sculpts. They're so beautiful. Defenders of Helm's Deep with the helmet under the arm, the foot model is one of my favorites, and some of the mounted models are just like out of this world. But some of the detail work can be a little challenging. I'm not the most amazing painter, but the edge highlighting can be quite tricky because some of the detail isn't sort of, the contrast ratio between the high points and the recesses isn't mind-blowingly amazing. It's, you know, still pretty impressive, but you can make it look really good with a lot of work, but, you know, I kind of suck sometimes. But this looks really awesome for beginners. There's a lot of great detail that looks really easy to pick out. All of those scales are so well individually defined on the scale mail, and all of the beautiful leather armor. There's a lot of contrast between the high points and the recesses of the armor, so it looks like it's going to be a dream to paint, even for kind of suckers like me. We get some really beautiful kind of ornate stylings on the armor as well, as Theoden's armor has always been so gorgeous. It's really nice to see that captured so well, and it's kind of interestingly assembled, I guess, by the looks of it. Everything kind of comes in a half. It's not just a model standing there. There's been a lot of thought put into the way that it's assembled on the sprue to allow all of the material to flow into the casting process, and I guess that's kind of why we've got such amazing detail resolution, is because this sprue is really well designed. Coming from a bit of a materials engineering background, it's always fun to sort of have a look at the way that they put these sprues together, all the flash points and how they best optimize the flow of the plastic into the mold itself with the injection molding process. So it's something I like to geek out on. It's Games Workshop are just getting so amazing at running their little plastic sprue systems and then jamming them packed full of details, as we can see here. It looks like we've got quite a few little options here. Yeah, we've definitely got a helmeted and unhelmeted version for both the foot and mounted model, so you can have Theoden wearing a helmet or not, that's really cool. You know, I think one of the guys here on the channel is planning on magnetizing his so he could swap the heads in and out, so that's certainly on the option for people. And of course we've got that big gorgeous sword and the reins there as well. That's a really nice piece of plastic, so that is super exciting. Well done, Games Workshop. Can't wait to sink my teeth into that little guy. What else have we got here? Of course, the divider, which stops our books from getting damaged from the plastic parts, but in this case it is also an instruction manual. This is a starter set, so instruction manuals are always really great. It looks like this one's quite large and visual and nice and easy to understand for experts and beginners alike. So that looks like a nice little piece. It's going to be really fun putting all of these guys together. That's a lot of bases. Are we getting a lot of models in this set? I'm not sure. This is, wow. And of course, our big base. What else have we got here? Now, it does come with some dice. These are quite interestingly sized. Traditionally, the Lord of the Rings dice have been kind of the big, chunky size. I quite like using the smaller dice, so these are quite a nice little size. Obviously, we've got some green and red for Mordor and Rohan. Always handy to have dice. I probably won't use these that much because I'm going to be subbing in my new dice, but we'll get onto those in a moment. Now, look at these. We've got a few more charge tokens. So we've got these. I've got my token kit from the General's Accessory Pack, of course, but it looks like we've got some extra stuff here. So we've got our cavalry charge on one side, and then we've got some heroic move stuff. We've got a half movement token and a failed courage check token, heroic combats, heroic shoots, a couple of extra transfix tokens as well, and then just some general objective markers, which are always good. Now, presumably, all of these are in here so that if you don't have the General's Accessory Pack, you're able to represent all of both Theoden and the Witch King's abilities, because I'm looking at Transfix, that's a Witch King power, Channel Transfix, Heroic Strike and Heroic Move, that's definitely within Theoden's capabilities. Obviously lots of Cavalry Charge tokens for the Rohirrim, Heroic Combats, Courage checks are always good, so it's great that it's the perfect amount of tokens to be able to really kind of have them at your disposal as a new player, and it's always handy having more tokens as an experienced player, but as a new player having these kind of tokens is really helpful when you're kind of keeping track of everything, so that's an awesome decision, Games Workshop. Plus it also makes people want to buy the General's Accessory Pack because they want the extra tokens and, you know, they get the feel for using them, and yeah, good work. Good work, GW. Now, we've got probably the thing I'm looking forward to the most, obviously, the new rules manual, which we're not going to go into depth here at all. I'll leave it in the shrink rack, and then I'll go home and I'll go upstairs and crack open a cup of tea and just read this cover to cover like 4 times. This is probably what's going to happen for the rest of the evening. But obviously this is the full rules manual, big, juicy hardcover. No mini rules manual. Often in sort of starter sets of past days, we would get a smaller condensed version, which some players like because they could have a travel version, but I'm pretty stoked to be able to buy a starter set and get the big one. That's just a personal preference, but I love owning the biggest, heaviest, juiciest rulebook, so I think that's pretty neat. And yeah, it's quite nice and thick. Oh, hello! Looks like we've got a ribbon in there. That is fantastic. We'll have a crack into that and have a look in a moment. And then, of course, we have the scenario book. The Battle for the Pelennor Fields scenarios and profiles. So this is pretty awesome. We've got a couple of great little scenarios in here which obviously capture the theme of the box and the story of the Battle of the Pelennor Fields. And like, you guys know I'm a huge sucker for narrative gaming. I love my match play, but narrative is where SBG is at its finest. And it's really cool to have some great little scenarios here to take this box set through. And that's probably brings me to the most important point of all. Tomorrow, we've got some guys arriving, and we're going to be doing a big series of battle reports where we play through all 4 scenarios from the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, and I'll be releasing them all next week, 1 each day. So that will be super exciting. We're really keen to sink our teeth in. We've got all of these models painted and ready to go, even our new Theoden. One of the guys picked his up on Saturday and smashed straight into it, so we should have some really awesome Pelennor Fields battle reports coming your way next week on some pretty nice little boards as well, so that should be really exciting. But it's also just a really handy quick reference for new players in this book. We've got, our wound charts and our kind of gameplay summary on the back, which is really great when you're first learning, and it's also got all of the profiles that you need in this for these sort of scenarios and these models. They're all kind of at a quick reference point. If you don't want to have to be cracking open your big book, you can jump straight in and have this kind of really handy close by. As you can see, here's all the evil profiles, the Witch King and the Morannon Orcs and the Troll. And then we've got the good profiles there as well. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted reading all the cool new stuff. But yeah, so that's a really handy thing to have as well. And then, a bit of a tease to hook all the new players into getting deeper into our beautiful world. And we also get, oh wow, geez, that's a pretty thick card. We get some movement kind of rulers, movement measuring devices. Which is great, because you don't have to have a tape measure handy. You can just pick up the box and play. Dice measures, you've got everything you need. Obviously, I'll probably, put these in a drawer and start using my proper Games Workshop tape measures. But one thing I really love is they've actually got some really nice designs on them. I'll see if you guys... I'll hold that up to the camera like that. You can see it against the cardboard there, but there's some beautiful Rohan kind of heraldry, the horse, and then we've got the sort of symbol of the Witch King and some Morannon Orc symbols and the Eye of Sauron. So that's actually a pretty cool little piece. They are much cooler than I was expecting they would be. The Kill Team ones that we recently got in the Kill Team box set from Games Workshop were pretty cool as well, so I guess they're continuing their theme there. The plastic's obviously a bit wobbly, but it's, it's perfectly sturdy enough for gaming, and then also transparent, which is kind of quite convenient sometimes. I was surprised just how useful the Kill Team one was, just because it was transparent. It certainly made it really, really gaming friendly. Now, let's have a quick look at these books before we sign off, because obviously, the books are going to have some amazing stuff in them, but I'd love to check out the kind of paper quality. Let me just find my scalpel, which I've buried in here somewhere. Not scalpel, my file. God damn it. I don't want to hurt it. It's going to get scuffed in like a week anyway, but, right now I'm like, my precious. Alright. Okay, nice gloss finish. Feels really sturdy, really solid. Oh, hang on. This is the moment that matters, right? Oh, God, yeah. God, that takes me back. Oh, wow. Geez, the color resolution of the printing looks absolutely gorgeous. We've got some, really good combination of imagery and obviously the rules, which are hugely important. Lots of great kind of examples. Looks like once again it's another really well put together book by the Middle-earth team. They've just been knocking stuff out of the park recently. Our Battle Company's book was gorgeous as well, and this one looks absolutely stunning from a visuals and design point of view. Now, of course, we've got lots of goodies in here, all our rules. I'm not going to go into depth with all that stuff in this video. We've got all our kind of art kind of sections at the back with beautiful painted stuff to kind of give you some inspiration, as well as scenarios and all of the goodness that you would expect in a rulebook. So yeah, looks like it's beautiful. Look at that, Hobbit and Lord of the Rings finally together in one place. No more separate nonsense. We'll also have a look at the Armies of Lord of the Rings book as well. This doesn't come in the box set. You have to purchase this separately. I think it was 95 bucks Australian, I think. It's just the same as the rulebook itself. It looks absolutely gorgeous. We've got a great print finish and lots of gorgeous little images in there, mixed in with, of course, all of the important profiles. So it looks like a really solid print run for those, and I'm pretty keen to sink my teeth pretty deeply into that one and start nutting out all the changes to my Articon list that I'll be making, and just in general the whole kind of balancing and how everything's gone with the new edition of the rules. So much to look into. Overall, I think I've only heard of one misprint in all the kind of people that I've been chatting to with any of the books, and that was one of the guys down in Melbourne had like a double up in pages or something, and of course the community, the customer service team at Games Workshop sorted him out pretty quickly. So overall it seems like it's been a really positive print run for all of the rulebooks, which is super exciting. We never want to hear about any misprints, but to barely hear about any at all is super exciting and gives you a lot of confidence in the printing setup that the Games Workshop have got going for these books, so that is super exciting. The last thing that I want to chat about, which again isn't in the box set, is the little dice sets. I know a lot of you guys will have purchased these as well when you picked up your box set because they're just so tempting. These were 20 bucks each, I think. I never used to play with the old dice sets. I always thought about getting them, but one thing that really irked me, and irked a lot of players, as I'm sure many of you will know, is that the symbols, the custom symbols that come on the dice, were on the ones. Who thought that was a good idea? So every time you roll a big juicy symbol, it's a 1, and you never want to see a 1. So it was always so counterintuitive. I used to borrow them, and it always irked me. But it has changed, which is very exciting. So these are the Mordor dice. You get 8 of them in each set, and we have a big, gorgeous Eye of Sauron on the 6. You can see there's the Eye of Sauron, and there's our 1. And a bit of a muted coppery tone for the font itself, which looks really nice. I think let's give them a bit of a roll, see how we go. And oh, look at, oh yes, 2 Eyes of Sauron, very nice. So yeah, they're very, very gorgeous. I don't usually use dice this large. I'm much more prefer kind of smaller dice in hand. But recently I've been using the Kill Team dice, and actually, which are the same size, and I've actually been enjoying them. They feel pretty nice in hand, and so these do as well. So good chance these are going to get quite a lot of use. The Mordor ones are certainly super cool, but the ones I was most excited for are definitely the Rohan ones. Again, it's this gorgeous pearlescent color in a green, and we have the beautiful horse symbols on the 6s as well, and you will definitely see me rocking these with my Rohan army. They're absolutely gorgeous, and oh yes, there we go, big horsey symbol. So yeah, they're absolutely stunning. Again, those don't come in the box set. You have to pick them up separately, but I just thought, seeing as we're going to be doing our battle reports, we could easily sub them in, and instead of the dice that we get. Not that there's anything wrong with these guys, but I just, they look gorgeous. We've got to see them in the battle report. That'll look fantastic. So that brings us to the end of our unboxing. Is essentially just a big stream of consciousness dump from me about how awesome this all looks. I guess closing thoughts are, it seems to be amazing value. 250 bucks Australian it costs. You guys know what it is in the UK and of course the US, but it's really solid value. You get the big main rulebook. It's the proper official hardcover rulebook. So much plastic. 36 Morannon Orcs, a Mordor Troll, the Witch King, or a Ringwraith on Fellbeast, depending how you tool it. The beautiful new Theoden sculpt, which is the first in this kind of new range of plastic heroes we just saw on the Warhammer community page. The Gandalf and Pippin model that's coming out, which looks freaking amazing. It actually looks like Ian McKellen. That's a gorgeous sculpt, and this one is certainly really beautiful. 12 Riders of Rohan and 12 Rohan infantry to be dismounts or warriors in their own right, and 20 Warriors of the Dead as well. So it is a lot of plastic to be jammed into this box, and a lot of really great value. Plus we get a great little scenario guide. This is a really great thing for beginners, and also for those who want to play a bit of story stuff. The scenarios look really interesting, and should be really fun to play over the next week, which I hope you guys will join us in. So yeah, my final thoughts, I guess. When it first got announced, I was kind of a bit like, oh god, no new plastic kits apart from our new hero. I felt like I sort of wanted something more, but upon reflection, I think it's a really good set, not just for new and old players, but for the community as a whole. I've managed to find value in it because I'm getting extra trolls and fell beasts, and I needed Moran and orcs, so even for an older player like me, there's been value for it, and that won't be the case for everyone, but for the amount of new players that this box set can potentially bring to the game, it's just going to be so incredible. We're already seeing this huge surge of buzz on all of the Facebook pages and all of the online communities. I mean, yesterday I was on Facebook and I saw 10 posts in a row in my newsfeed of new players saying, "Hi, just got back into this after the new box set, blah 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 blah," and I was like, holy shit, that's mind-blowing. And it's I think it's going to be really fantastic for the game, and we've got a real opportunity here for all of us who are long-time members of the community to really embrace that and bring all these new players into the fold, and all the local kind of chapter members of our little gaming clubs across the world. We've got such a strong community everywhere. We really need to foster all these new players and you know, kind of see this as an opportunity to return to the days of old, where, you know, Lord of the Rings was the biggest selling product for Games Workshop. If it wasn't for the Lord of the Rings range, the Games Workshop probably wouldn't have got through the GFC, and we wouldn't have all the incredible plastic kits in the 40k and Sigmar and Fantasy Evolved ranges. So yeah, we can certainly return Lord of the Rings to the forefront of people's minds. The Amazon series is obviously on the horizon as well, so Games Workshop have made a wise decision supporting the Middle-earth team, and I really hope this pays off for them, because this is an awesome product, and the Middle-earth team certainly deserve our support. Alright, well, I think that's enough rambling for me. Box set looks awesome. I really enjoyed pulling it apart. I can't wait to go and read those rulebooks with a cup of tea tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, if you've got any thoughts, just let us know. You know, like, comment down below, all that sort of stuff. If you're new around here, feel free to subscribe. We've got so much Lord of the Rings content on the way, as well as we've got some great stuff already. You feel free to check out some of our cool boards. We've got a lot more epic terrain builds on the way as well as all sorts of battle reports, including the Pelennor Fields series, which is coming out next week. We're filming them all tomorrow and the next day back to back, and I'll edit them over the weekend and have them out next week for you guys. Fingers crossed I do get them done in time, but I'm pretty sure I will. So yeah, lots of good stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. You've been watching Zorba Gaming. My name's Lachie. We'll see you next time, and keep on SBG gaming. Cheers, guys.